Happy 2024, everyone. I encounter a few problems I would like to discuss with you today if you're considering buying the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame. But not everything is negative. I'm leaving some positive stuff for the end because I'm a positive person. But I will rest my case for once and for all. By the end of the video, you'll understand what I mean by that. In December 2023, I went to Val d'Aosta, northwest of Italy, near France, in the Alps. One of the reasons for that trip was to test this camera. I received the camera in November, but due to my busy schedule, I didn't have the chance to use it much. Additionally, I was missing a few things I needed to make this camera functional, such as the lens adapter, memory card, etc. If you are new to the channel, a warm welcome. Your decision to subscribe is highly appreciated as it shows your interest in joining us on our journey to never stop learning. And don't forget that every like counts. If you've been here for a while, get ready for an exciting ride. My name is Ruben and I create videos about cameras, filming and sometimes health. I purchased the Viltrox Pro Lens adapter on eBay and I did that trying to save some money. And you know what sometimes happens when you try to save some money? I knew I should have bought the Sigma MC21, but this one was cheaper. And as a result, my camera doesn't read the iris on my second lens, meaning I couldn't manually control the aperture. I know it sucks. I spoke with the people who sold it to me and they gave me a long speech, and because I had to make the trip, I didn't have time. So I went and I took it with me. At the same time, I bought the aforementioned Sigma MC21, but it never arrived. I called eBay and they gave me my money back. But this has nothing to do with the camera, right? Well, it does in a way. I own the 6K Pro and I've been using it since it was available in Italy, but as this one has an L mount, I couldn't even use it. So all this is part of the problems I had to face, and definitely something you will have to face too if you don't have any L mount lenses. So keep it in mind. My memory card and card reader arrived. By the way, I got the 330 gigabytes. But keep in mind that this, it's better if you get a little bit more, because when you shoot at 30 frames per second open gate, it fills up really quick. So you have a better peace of mind, get a little bit more. Anyway, I was ready, because when I was testing the camera, I noticed something awful regarding video quality, which made me think, why did I ever get this camera? But in a second. One of the first things that hit me was the lack of internal NDs. I know what you're thinking, but I got spoiled with the 6K Pro and its internal NDs. It's such a comfortable thing to have, something less to carry and drop. Nevertheless, I got this variable ND, which, how can I put it? Listen, it has this magnetic ring that is nice, but listen, if you have the money, get one of those adapters with the filter inside. Anything you have to attach to your lens, it's a pain in the neck because you change lenses. I like to constantly change lenses, and every time I change lenses, I have to thread and unthread the freaking rings, and no way, it's a pain in the ass. As I mentioned, I got two lenses, the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8, the one I'm using now, and the Sigma 70 to 300 f4 to 5.6 macro. Choice. Shut up. As you can imagine, the 18 to 35 lens causes vignetting from 18 to 34. It was a bit frustrating. Now, due to its focal length, the second lens doesn't give me any vignetting, but I couldn't control the aperture. Can you picture the frustration? Nothing, I had to improvise. So all that to say, before you get the camera, choose wisely the lenses. Okay, one day I started filming and I was shooting in constant bit rate at 12:1, 8:1, 5:1, trying different compressions. Then I decided to shoot something in constant quality at Q0. First of all, I shot something in movement. And of course, the memory card got full. Now, when using constant quality settings, your camera delivers the best possible quality. However, suppose you're shooting something in motion. In that case, the camera tries to adjust it to provide the best quality, which requires significant digital information. Consequently, it uses a lot of memory. That wasn't the problem though. The problem was when I went to check my footage, I pressed the playback button on the back of the camera and the screen, the commands on the screen started to flip up and down constantly. I wrote to Blackmagic Design support team and I have to say they were super fast. Emails looked like chatting. Anyway, they asked me for a couple of questions and asked me for a video, which I did with my phone. And in the end, they told me to send the camera for repair because this was something they had never seen before. And that was the only thing I needed. After that, I transferred the footage to my storage drive, formatted the card, and the problem disappeared. I thought it was because I had mixed footage at different compressions and codes, but I tried doing the same thing again. It has never happened so far, fingers crossed. I still hear people saying that this camera has a very decent battery life, and that amazes me. They compare it with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K. Come on, people, 2024, the 4K has a beautiful image quality, but it's not a pocket camera. It's a camera you have to rig if you want to use it. And so, yeah, battery life for me was relatively an issue. Relatively because 90% of the time I use my Anton Bauer Titan base. But, you know, if you don't believe me, check serious people here on YouTube and see what they say about battery life. However, battery life is a tricky thing when it comes to this camera. Why? Because Blackmagic Design's main goal was to provide an affordable, proper cinema camera. This means anyone using the Pro Grip or any other battery setup can use their existing setup when moving to the Blackmagic Cinema 6K. From my perspective, the sacrifices made by Blackmagic Design were carefully selected. The outcome is a camera with an exceptional image quality, especially given its market price. While some people, including myself, may have been excited about the box-style design, I believe the current form factor may be the right choice for this camera's objective of achieving a superior cost-to-quality ratio. The use of established manufacturing process for this body is smart and effective way to save a significant amount in production cost. As a cinema camera rather than a pocket, it's more likely to be seriously rigged up with gimbal, monitor, battery pack, etc. Making the body design may be less important, given that this camera will be used in a wide variety of setups. And now, who knows if Blackmagic Design will release a new product that meets the demand, which would make buying this camera more logical for some people. This really scared me. I shot something at night, but now I gotta say that these cameras' color are much better than the 6K Pro. This is probably due to the fact that this camera has the OLPF filter, but also because of the huge sensor. Now, for my test, I saw some noise in low light. There was noise at 400 ISO, but more 800, and even more when I went up. I found a sweet spot at 1260 ISO. But still, there was a little bit of noise, but an amount you could remove in post. Not so bad, but not as it was supposed to be with that huge sensor. Let me know what you think about these, please. But that wasn't the scary part. The scary part happened one night. I went out with the dogs. They did their thing, and I was amazed when I looked at the moon. I ran to the house, I left the dogs with my wife and daughter, I grabbed the camera and the tripod and started filming. Everything looked awesome in the screen of the camera. Now, inspired and motivated by that nice shot, the following day I went out very early at -10°C and I shot some other parts of the place. I was very happy with the footage and with the camera, and it had finally paid back all the frustrations and effort to make it work properly. Yet, When I came home, opened DaVinci Resolve, and I started importing the footage, all my night shots were unusable. They had very strong video banding. I started investigating this thing that had never happened to me before with any camera. I searched on YouTube, I messaged friends, some of them were very surprised because let's face it, this camera has a huge sensor. Everybody mentioned one thing, compression. But again, this had never happened with my 6K Pro. I contacted Blackmagic Design again and told them about my issue. And the person asked me one thing. Are you sure this is the RAW file or the proxy file? Now, I want to show you something on my computer so you don't make the same mistake I made. It looks like DaVinci Resolve automatically has this as default. So what I was working was the proxy file. Then I clicked here and this opened. And when I selected only the RAW file, all the video banding disappeared. Please keep this in mind because this will save you hours of strong headaches. All in all, this camera has a fantastic image quality for its price. I know it's what everybody's saying here on YouTube, but this is the truth. And I couldn't give you a dishonest opinion. I can't. I don't work that way. Does it need better battery life? I believe it does. Does it need to have better ergonomics? I believe it does. Does it need to have higher frame rates? It would be sweet. Maybe ProRes? Maybe. But for the price, it's a very good deal. Is it for you? I don't know. You gotta do your research and decide for yourself depending on the kind of work you do. But let me tell you something, if you get it, you won't be disappointed. I hope my story was helpful in any way. Thank you so much for watching and for all the support and love. See you in the next one. Peace and love.